After winning the ACC Championship last season, Deion Sanders had higher goals for his 4th year here. He wanted to get Georgia Tech to a national championship game, but that would be almost impossible with our schedule. We had to play 6 ranked teams in a row, and Arizona was our first matchup. We had a bunch of new starting wide receivers like junior Clayton Bryant, who pulled off this filthy spin move and put us on the board first. Another one was former 4-star recruit sophomore Jamil Sutherland, and at 6'4", he was tough to bring down. I think it's safe to say this was Deion's most talented receiving room yet, with freshman Seth Coleman hauling in this 45-yard touchdown on his debut. But on the other side of the ball, our defense was rough. After losing a ton of seniors, we had a lot of new faces in our secondary, but at least we had senior KJ Miles at defensive tackle, who already had 3 sacks. Our defense gave up 31 points through just 2.5 quarters, and by the 4th, we found ourselves down by 10 to the Wildcats. The sophomore tried to hook up with the other sophomore in the end zone, but Willie Tucker couldn't hold on to it, so it was a good thing he made up for it on the next play, mossing the Arizona safety and reeling it in. With 16 seconds left in the game, Joey Parks delivered another laser to him, and Arizona almost pulled off the miracle Hail Mary play here, with one of their receivers coming down with it, but we stopped him short of the end zone, so we escaped with a win. The following week, we traveled to South Bend, and if we wanted to make the college football playoffs, we needed to win this game. Senior running back Antonio Martin started it off by taking in this 8-yard touchdown run, but then the first quarter, we lost our lead when our sophomore quarterback fumbled away the ball, and Notre Dame took it all the way back for 6. Joey Parks was struggling on the road, and he would need to get it together for us to win. Antonio Martin ended the half with this run, and he was single-handedly carrying us against the Irish. To start the 4th quarter, our defense had a chance to get a 4th and goal stop, but we didn't get any pressure in, and Notre Dame got into the end zone. This 2-point conversion would make it a 3-point game, but this field goal would put us back up 6. And fortunately, running back Antonio Martin's amazing performance was setting us up for success. With 2 minutes left in the game, he busted off this 13-yard run with a filthy spin move to give us a 2-possession lead, and that was enough to keep us undefeated. We shot up to number 5 in the polls, and we had a massive home game. We were hosting undefeated Florida State, and not only did Joey Parks get us on the board first, but he also had great pocket awareness, releasing the ball just in time to hook up with Jamil Sutherland, who would go 81 yards to the house untouched. Our offense was completely dominating, and defensively, we were playing much better now than we did against Arizona on opening day. So we went into the half up 15, and the Seminoles couldn't stop Joey Parks. He was honestly doing it all, and not just through the air, but also with his legs, which was clearly enough to get us the win. We were the only undefeated team left in the ACC, and we were playing in the Dome for the 2nd year in a row. Antonio Martin started the game by putting us up 7, and he continued to get into the end zone over and over. Syracuse hadn't won a game yet this season, so you know Joey Parks wouldn't let us lose to them, and I was impressed at how well our receivers were playing, with Willie Tucker holding on to this tough grab. So obviously, we ended up winning. The following week, we were playing at Death Valley, and sophomore Justin Adams started off the game with one of the best catches of the year, mossing the Clemson safety and getting us inside the red zone. But our success didn't last long, as Joey Parks threw an interception a couple of plays later, and then Clemson would get into the end zone midway through the first quarter. I'd love to say we started playing better, but for some reason, we were struggling, and I don't know why, because Clemson hadn't won a game yet this season. Rivalry games on the road were meant to be tough, and it was really testing us as a team, but if we wanted any chance of making the national championship this year, we would need to dig deep and get a win. Midway through the 3rd quarter, we got back within 1 possession, and surprisingly, we took a lead a minute later. Deion Sanders must have had quite the halftime speech, because we came out and played like a completely different team. With 45 seconds left in the game, we needed to get a goal line stop to pull off the win, and here on 4th down, even though the Tigers got close to scoring, we kept them short to pull off the rivalry win. The next week, we had a top 10 matchup, and beating North Carolina on the road wouldn't be easy. We started off hot, scoring the first 2 touchdowns of the night, but North Carolina kept it close as we continued to go back and forth against each other. With about 20 seconds left in the first half, they tied it up on this touchdown throw, and with the Tar Heels offense playing this well, we were in trouble. Antonio Martin probably could have broken off this run for a huge touchdown play, but unfortunately, he just didn't have the top end speed to do it, so we had to rely on Joey Parks to deliver a dot instead. To end the 3rd quarter, North Carolina took a lead on this run, and then Joey Parks blindly threw his first interception of the game, which ended up leading to our defense giving up another touchdown to the Tar Heels. With 4 minutes left, Joey Parks connected with Justin Adams to get us within 7, and then he tied up the game with this throw to Jamil Sutherland. 20 seconds remained, and we had an opportunity to get in field goal range and go for the win. As time expired, kicker William Parker sealed the game, which set us apart from the rest of the ACC besides Miami, but we had to play 2 more games before we played the Hurricanes. Virginia has given us problems in the past, and since we were on the road today, it wouldn't be an easy win. However, we did get off to a good start as sophomore quarterback Joey Parks didn't have anybody open, so he took off and he would scramble in for a 33-yard touchdown. By the end of the quarter, we had a nice lead, but that wouldn't even last 30 seconds as the Cavaliers got into the end zone seconds later. I loved how fast our offense responded back though, with Joey Parks hitting Clayton Bryant in stride, and he would take it 76 yards to the house to put us back up by 14. But again, Virginia just wouldn't go away, and this fumble could have gone really wrong if Antonio Martin wasn't able to bounce on top of it. To start the fourth quarter, Virginia took a 3-point lead, and in response, Joey Parks threw a laser. When we needed a 4th down stop on defense, ours came up clutch, and we improved to 7-0. We were finally ranked number 1, and Duke was about to score, but sophomore linebacker Eric Mark had other plans, reading the Blue Devils quarterback like a book and taking the interception almost 100 yards to the house. Antonio Martin would then put us up 14 points, and midway through the second quarter, Joey Parks rolled out and found Clayton Bryant to extend our lead even more. However, I'm not proud to say that we completely blew it. We stopped playing good football for a couple of quarters, but in the end, we were able to persevere and beat the Blue Devils. The following week, we were playing at Miami, and we were off to a terrible start, giving up 3 touchdowns in the first 6 minutes of the game. Luckily, there was a flag on that score, so they only got 3 instead. With almost no time left in the half, Joey Parks delivered an absolute beautiful throw on the run to get us within 6, and by the fourth quarter, we had gone back and forth, with Miami taking their lead back on this play. Fortunately, they couldn't get the 2, so all we needed was a touchdown to win the game and stay undefeated, which is what we got with 10 seconds left. Our undefeated season would need to continue at Pitt, and I don't know why we had to get off to such a bad start, falling behind by 14. This field goal ended up making it 28-3, and as a team that plays in the city of Atlanta, it was time that we finally got revenge. The Panthers' lead was slowly shrinking as Joey Parks scrambled in to get us within 2 possessions, and then near the end of the third quarter, he delivered another end zone dot. But our comeback was stopped for the moment as our defense got run through by the Pitt offense. However, it wasn't over yet, with Joey Parks throwing another touchdown and us picking up the conversion. With 2 minutes left, we had the ball and a good chance of winning after Antonio Martin busted off this 20-yard run. But I was afraid Joey Parks left way too much time on the clock. Luckily, in the end, the Panthers couldn't move the ball, and we improved to 10-0. A spot in the ACC Championship was on the line, and we had to win this game against our rivals. The Battle of the Techs started with a Joey Parks touchdown throw, and to end the half, instead of taking our 3, we went for it, which ended up being a bad decision. However, we made up for it at the start of the third quarter by getting on the board almost instantly with a 42-yard touchdown, and then a couple minutes later we extended our lead to 10. Our defense had a chance to get the Hokies off the field on 4th down, and that's exactly what they did. So from there, we would go on to seal the game and win the Battle of the Techs. This was a top 5 matchup and a rivalry game, so you knew that it was going to be a good one and probably come down to the wire. Gunnar Stockton tied it right back up with this touchdown run, and we were going back and forth. With 2 minutes left in the quarter, Joey Parks continued to dominate, and he wasn't slowing down, throwing his 3rd touchdown of the day. Through one half, we combined for 52 points, and we continued to trade touchdown for touchdown. But then Georgia got a massive defensive stop, tackling Joey Parks in the end zone, so by the time we got the ball back, we had about a minute to get down the field, and then we made a mistake by staying in bounds, and the clock would continue to run, so Joey Parks couldn't get the snap off in time, and we lost to our rivals. We should still make the college football playoffs, but we would have to beat the Seminoles first. The ACC Championship was set in the snow, and we would have to win this game. Midway through the second quarter, Jerry Jones gave Florida State the lead, and we were struggling to move the ball offensively. We would go into the half down by 7 and then go scoreless through the whole third quarter. It wasn't looking good for us, but then Jamil Sutherland changed everything. The Seminoles went with press man coverage, and that wasn't smart because Jamil destroyed it with ease and got us within 3, while also helping Joey Parks set a school record. With less than a minute left, Antonio Martin gave us the lead, and our defense would hold Florida State, so Deion Sanders got Georgia Tech another ACC championship. Unfortunately, Joey Parks didn't win the Heisman, but he did get us into the college football playoffs, and I felt like he had a solid season. Antonio Martin went over 1,000 rushing yards, and Clayton Bryant went over 1,000 receiving yards. But now, it was game day, and the first round of the college football playoffs started off with a dot from Joey Parks, chalking the whole Minnesota defense with this 70-yard touchdown play. To be honest, I didn't expect this game to be close, but Minnesota was giving us a run for our money. So we needed to step up and score again before halftime, which is what we did. And then we started rolling. There was no stopping quarterback Joey Parks throughout the third quarter, and we were moving on to the big game. We finally made a national championship, and this was our chance to win it all. Even though UCF was undefeated, they weren't off to a good start, giving up 2 easy touchdowns, and by the end of the third quarter, we still had a 2-possession lead, so we were getting comfortable. Joey Parks extended our lead by even more with this run, and in the end, we were going to beat the Knights. So Deion Sanders got Georgia Tech a championship in just 4 seasons, and this would be the end of the short mini-series. But if you want more Dynasty videos from me, there's a new Toledo one on my second channel, which is linked in the description.